It's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I figured, this is a perfect time, to do another card talk because men's mental health is honestly, it's important. It's highly important. And even though on the internet you see like people always talking about, or occasionally talking about how, men, the importance of men's mental health and reaching out and all that stuff, not everybody's on the internet. And here out in the physical world, I've seen and I still see people who are passing down generational curses on the mental health side because they don't really know how to express themselves. They don't know how to express their emotions. They don't know how to express when they're like when they're sad, when they're going through a depression, mad. You'll see things where people go, I can't talk to women because she might throw it in my face. I just saw the thing of Shaq when Shaq says he doesn't talk to nobody because he's the man, he's the leader, and that's something I don't agree with because even leaders have to have somebody that they confide into. That's why leaders have advisors and so on and so on. That rhetoric I still see is like very prevailing. And the issue with that is when people don't know how to express themselves, what they're going through, they'll bottle it up. And sometimes with bottling up, they actually end up resorting to the bottle, resorting to just being overly aggressive. Because the thing about emotions is emotions will find a way to come out. Trust me, as an angry person, I know this 100%. Is actually something that is uncomfortable for your long-term mental health and even for your physical health. When I used to bottle my emotions up, it eventually began to affect me physically. I had a lot of things I was dealing with, I think, when I was around like 18 years old. When I was 17, I was so depressed I didn't go outside for a year. I'm not joking. Besides to go out and like check the mail on the porch at the at the house we was living at the time, I did not go outside for a year. I was already a high school dropout at that time, but I stayed in my room. Played video games, or just slept. And my mom apparently goes through depression, so she didn't really know what to do about that or how to like manage it. But I stayed in the house for an entire year. And then when I turned 18, things just became like so unbearable. We had like a toxic household. Me and my mom wasn't really getting along. A bunch of other stuff. I had things that were bothering me, like family members that had passed away, a bunch of other stuff, blah, 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 blah. But I suffered from migraines. Eventually, I had some really bad migraines. This one migraine, it was one of the worst things I ever felt in my life. And that was the time when I was like the most stressed in my life. And one of the times I was the most stressed. But at least this moment I wasn't expressing how stressed I was. And this migraine really felt like I had a Smurf, the little blue people. I had a Smurf right here behind my cranium, and he had a hand drill and he was trying to drill his way out. That's how bad that migraine was. And coincidentally, once I stopped being so stressed, I wasn't getting those migraines anymore.